Hello friends, and welcome to my allotment. It's a glorious day, so I felt at the last minute I'll come out, make the most of the sunshine so I can just very quickly show you what's growing in here, what isn't doing so well, and where I might potentially struggle a little bit later on. We are in Lancashire. We've had quite a bit of rain since the new year really, so we've had the odd few days. We've had a really nice week about a month ago, so I got quite a lot of jobs done in here, so I thought it'd just be cool to just go through everything that is growing and that's going on at the minute. So let's go. So let's start with my very first bed at the front of my allotment. So this is the size of my allotment all the way to the end where the shed is. And this is my rhubarb. So originally I planted 5 crowns in it, but as you know, typically rhubarb multiplies and I have got so much going on. I mean, they're not super long, but the stalks, I've already harvested some. I mean, look at the size of it. This is my finger. So they're absolutely massive. They're really, really thick. This is my oldest one. I believe it's Victoria. And that one, I'm not exactly sure, but it could be 5 or 6 years old already. Not established in this bed, but in my previous property. And I have the same going on everywhere else. I mean, you can see how much this used to be 1 crown. You can see there's plenty going on in here. So I'm really, really chuffed. I mean, these are getting thicker as well. They weren't that thick last year. So I'm really pleased with how they're coming on. This is the thickest and the oldest, and I can see that. And these are the youngest, I believe. I cannot remember exactly when I got them, but you can see from the thickness, not the number of crowns. I mean, look at it. You can see, oh, look, I've got more babies coming on in here. How many crowns I've gotten, but how thin they still are. So I suspect these two to be getting a lot thicker from next year, because they're not far along from these. But I mean, especially this one is massive. And like I said, I harvested some. I mean, look at this beauty. I harvested from this one. I've harvested 7 stalks already, which I used in my little mini rhubarb tartlets I did for our Easter meal. And next to it you have, let me come out of the sun, this is my currant bed. This one, you can see this one is red currants, and it's already forming fruit. I mean, these are normally absolutely prolific. Let's see if I can see. So, and all the others on the other side, these are black currants. Last time I filmed, I didn't have quite so many, but it's just beautiful. And these, I mean, I end up freezing quite a lot because they are so prolific. I can see I've got quite a few dead branches coming through, so I'm gonna need to come through and just literally chop back all the dead stalks and all the dead branches, especially to allow for airflow. Not that it's ever prevented it from from growing nicely. I mean, look at it. I don't know if you can see that from, So yes, so this is my currant bed. Again, really prolific, especially the black currants. I haven't got as many red currants, and at the same time, well, the pigeons and the birds help themselves, so I need to net this anywhere from early June onwards, because this is when weather dependent. my current red currants obviously will change colour and attract the birds straight away. So I missed the very first wave, the first week of red currants without fail every single year, because I'm always behind, and I'm like, right, okay, you know, it's going to wait, it's going to be fine. And I end up realising, well, actually, quite a lot have been munched, have been taken away. So I need to make sure I'm on top this year, and I'm going to try and actually build something rather than just use what I normally do, a little bit of bamboo and you know, and netting on top. I'm going to try and build something decent so that it also holds when we've got a load of wind, which happens quite a lot in England. My second bed, so excuse my paths, I haven't really focused much on my paths. I've focused mainly on the beds. So yeah, these onions were sown from sets in autumn last year. I can't remember, I believe it was somewhere around mid-October, and they are actually doing really, really well. They are bulbing up. I don't know if you can see that. They're just starting to bulb up, and they are so thick, and I'm really, really pleased with the greens. I mean, they literally look like really fat spring onions. I mean, look at them. They've not got much brown going on at all. They are really, really, really healthy looking. So I'm really excited because I've got 4 beds of onions and garlic, and is it onion and garlic? I think I've got 2. Looking at what I've got in my beds, I've got 2, I believe, are garlic. I could be wrong. And I've got 2 beds of onions. I've got almost 100 onions in here. I have sown some from seed as well last year, and I have just sown them in about a month ago. So these teeny, puny little things here, they are actually looking really good. So yeah, I've planted them all in between because I've got no more bed space, and I thought, you know, they're going to be nice little neighbours to each other. They'll get along just fine. What the plan is with this bed, coming closer to June, obviously when the onions come out, before they come out, I'm going to start interplanting quite a lot of squashes and pumpkins that I've got growing at the minute from seed. Fingers crossed, all being well. So I'm going to start eventually maybe just moving them 1 or 2 just to give it good space, and top it with manure and make sure it's literally sitting in so much manure that it's doing the happy dance and grows, and try and interplant and succession sow, so to speak, before this crop is ready, trying to, you know, to help the next variety, or the next crop that I'm planting, to start developing roots and, you know, getting established. And once these, I'll call them just squashes and pumpkins that I'm going to grow or plant in here, once these are established, the onions will be coming out, leaving loads of more space available, growing space for them. Fingers crossed. I've not been very successful with pumpkins, butternut squashes, and, you know, all that autumn crop. I usually only get the 1 or 2, and they're very slow growing. But I've been building the soil in my allotment here for 4 years. It's my 4th year, so I've been diligently putting rotten manure down twice a year, so autumn and again in the spring, which you can see I have done as well. That was done about 2 months ago, I believe, 2 months ago. So they are looking really, really, really happy. I have also fed them chicken manure, and the next fertilizer that I'm going to be using is again fish blood and bone, just because now they are bulbing up and they are really, really hungry plants. So yeah, fingers crossed, they are looking really healthy, really happy. So I'm really, really excited, to a point I might be getting worried because I don't have as much space to cure them, but I'm not too worried. I will find something. So let's stay tuned on those. This is my bed, which I don't know if some of you recognize the plants or the crop that's coming through. This is my Jerusalem artichoke bed. And judging by the look of here, I have missed quite a lot in the ground, which I'm not mad about. It means I'm going to have another crop for free, which is all part of the process for me to be self-sufficient and self-reliant as much as possible, to avoid all the supermarkets and whatnot, and I know this is organic. This has not been sprayed, and they're really prolific, they're really beautiful. There's nothing to be mad about. However, I will need to make sure next year that I dig again, maybe a second time round, and dig them all up, basically. Behind it, I haven't done anything to it. I've put straw down last year when you can see, brassicas, my purple sprouting broccoli here mostly. I did have cabbage in here as well, which I mostly use them. I think there is one left in the front. But my purple sprouting broccoli, this one, I kind of missed it. It was kind of past its prime, and I've got some at home as well. These, I'm just leaving them obviously for the bees, but you can also eat these. So everything is edible on this plant, including the greens. But these will be coming out shortly, because I've got the plan that I've got, obviously minus my Jerusalem artichoke patch. This is going to be my sweet corn bed, and I'm going to try not the 3 sister bed planting system, but 2. I'm also going to interplant along here as well, because they will find their space. I mean, the sunflowers grow really, really tall, but on the ground it will cover the ground just the same as the sweet corn. I'm going to interplant as well squashes and butternut squashes and all that stuff. So fingers crossed that's going to work out. This is the idea and that's the plan for this bed. Now I've got 2 very similar beds going on here. These trellises were originally put in to support my tomatoes. So I very originally, about 3 years, I planted in both beds, on either side I planted tomatoes. They did really, really, really well. And then hit June, and it was really warm, but it was really wet, and they all caught blight. So I was absolutely gutted. So the trellis has obviously stayed in, and the idea, I don't know if you can see, I have planted or sown, where are they? I used it for peas and for beans. My beans, you can still see the remnants here. They were so big, so prolific, obviously growing really, really, really tall. I've decided to join both sides of the trellises with some blue plumbing tube type thing, and put the same fence, which you can see is quite small. It's just perfect really to go on the top, just to give it extra support, to allow peas or beans. So I usually plant them on this side of the fence, and in this bed they were planted on that side. So what I'm going to do this year, I'm going to put the peas in here, providing the local Peter Rabbit doesn't get to them. So I'm going to have to net them, unfortunately, and put my beans on this side. I planted a purple variety called Blauhilde last year, and I ended up, oh my goodness, and I gave a load away. I must have had about 9 or 10 bags in the freezer, and each bag for our family lasted for 2, maybe even 3 meals, depending how many people were at home at the time. So they were absolutely magnificent. I mean, I had to literally come every other day to pick because they were just amazing. I have been struggling to get hold of them, unfortunately. I think Premier Seeds which is where I bought them from. I think it was a pack of 100 seeds for $2.50 or $2.49, and I must have bought about 4 packs because I also plant them at home, and I succession plant them. So I plant 1 row, and then afterwards I directly sow the second round. So it was amazing. But anyway, this is the plan, and they were really, really heavy, and they were slightly leaning. So I thought, if I build a little bridge, a little roof in between to join them up, they'll have loads of space to grow, you know, giving them air space, which is you know, really crucial, because the last thing you want is mold. But anyway, so this is on my to-do list. I haven't gotten around to put that up just yet, so let's see how that works out. I know I keep looking at this. Hello, this is one of my lovely focus, my lovely, really nice grape. I cannot remember what variety it is. It just that my label disappeared. I do have another variety, which is the only one that gave me grapes last year and the year before. And last year they were much bigger. They weren't just teeny tiny, they were just getting decent sized balls, so I was really chuffed with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much is growing this year. We haven't got any trusses yet, but it's only just early. They've popped out. So let's see what happens. In those 2 beds at the minute, these are the ones that I sowed, where I sowed potatoes. They haven't come through just yet, but they won't take very long. I believe these are all onions. No, I believe these are all garlics. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I planted garlics here. Looking at them, they are completely different stems from my onions over there. These look more like really large spring onions, and I think these are all garlic. So I kind of squeeze them all in here. And what I did the other week, I sowed, you can see the little mounds that I have built. The idea, again, going back to what I was saying, I am trying to interplant as much as possible, and succession plant as well. So whilst one crop isn't quite ready, I am putting the next one in already, just so it's got time to establish. If it's got roots, potatoes obviously haven't got any, but they will be popping up in the ground. And once the greens from the potatoes are of significant size, so the foliage, well, all that garlic's going to start coming out, because that's going to be around about June, to give the potatoes more space. So I've kind of like, you know, planted them, leaving a little spot here and there, just where it's space. I moved the garlic. Looking at it, all the garlics that I moved are doing really, really well. I can't see anything that's been damaged. I'm going to see if I can find my local. No, I normally have the local frog hiding in here, which is why I haven't removed these panels. These planks. No, he's not in here either. He must have gone somewhere where the sun is, I don't know. Anyway, so these are the garlic. I can see I've got onions on the other side, red onions. Yes, these are not garlic on this side. These are all onions. And let me see. If you have a look, you can see which colour onions they are. So this is quite a fat one. So doing quite well. Bulbing up. Again, this has also been fed. So yeah, again, looking really, really healthy. I'm really pleased. I've been on top of all of my beds this year, so there's been no rushing, just the odd little job here and there that I needed to do. Like this one, this was the last bed that I covered. You came with me, you joined me when I covered this entire bed. Oh, look what I have spotted. Oh no, you nasty, nasty little thing. Oh, anyway, this will get picked at another time and put in the bin. If anybody knows that, that's horse tail or mare's tail, whichever. Same thing. We don't want it. Thankfully, it doesn't cause any damage or takes any nutrients from the soil for the other crops, so we're good. Right, so these are all onions. I do have this row here on the side that is also red onions, but all the other rows here are not. So I don't normally plant red onions because I don't tend to use them that much. I know people use them in salads and things like that. I don't. I'm not a fan, but I'll use them like in fajitas or something like that. It actually looks quite nice. So yes, so I've planted some, and also the red onion doesn't store as well, so that needs using up, you know, within a few weeks or months. These will not last until the next spring. So anyway, so I just bought one bag of these. They were also sets. So yeah, but I'm really happy with the way things are looking this way. My next bed, that was an awful bed. That was an awful bed that I hadn't tended to in a very, very long time. I feel guilty. However, it was literally a jungle of weeds. You could not see the strawberries in this bed. So I used to stand in thinking, do you know what? That is awful, but there was so much work involved that I just moved on to something else. It's just one of those beds that I was like, nah, you're alright. I'll just do something else. I just can't be bothered with that today. It's just looking at it, I already feel anxious. So I did tackle it, about a month ago. When we had that lovely week, I took a week off work just to crack on with the back garden and the allotment and do jobs like topping with manure and all sorts, just jobs that needed to do, including this one. It took me a day for that. Didn't quite take me a whole day, but I was really pleased because now that it's been topped, you can see where the weeds were, where there are no strawberries. This was full. And I've got another thing that needs to come out. I have a random bird that has dropped a raspberry in here one day, and that was the first thing I pulled out. Loads of raspberries in this bed because obviously the roots are underground. I did take some home and plant them in my front garden, hoping they would be really good, but actually the raspberries are really, really, really small. The minute you pick them, they fall apart. They're quite small as well, really, really tiny. So this bad boy is gonna come out, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry. So anyway, this has been now topped. What I did last year, you can see this side looks different to this side. So what I did is I pulled everything out of this side, so half the bed I pulled everything out, topped with, and then last week I topped it all up with manure on top. So I pushed it all in, so I did it all by hand just to make sure it all went into all the nooks and crannies. So yeah, I can see, oh my goodness, these are organic, all these from this line all the way here. They're all organic varieties. They gave me sod all last year, but that was to be expected because strawberries very rarely give you a lot in the first year. I mean, look at the size of these flowers. I mean, look at it. Phew. I am not complaining. Look at them. This one's a fat one. Oh my goodness. Really, really, really nice. And look at the foliage here as well. This one's taken on so well. I mean, I can't see any strawberries, I can't see any flowers just yet, but they will be coming. These are a little bit smaller. There are 3 different varieties. It was an advert that came up on Facebook. Don't ask me which varieties they are, but I know it was 3 different varieties, and I can see that from the size of the flowers. So yes, so let's move on to the next bed. Right, so these 2 next beds are a bit of a headache. Right, my son came in and did a bit of weeding here, bless him. He's done a pretty good job, to be honest. So well done you, because, well, what I had decided was I had so many runners of strawberries that I decided, well, I don't quite know what to do in this bed. This is my asparagus bed. This bed is 3 years old. Oh, I've got a baby come up, finally. Right, it's looking a little bit shocking and a little bit shaggy, but hey, this is real life. I'm just using what I've got. The reason being, the local Peter Rabbit has been helping himself, unfortunately, again, to my asparagus. I had 27 crowns in this bed. 27. And I believe because the local Peter Rabbit's been after them, and you're not supposed to pick them in the first year. Well, what's happened? Well, unfortunately, I mean, look, they're all growing. Really funny, look at it. So I've got one baby coming up here. I'm not quite sure what you do, but yeah, I definitely have some. Oh, I've got another one coming up here. Where are you? There, can you see that? And another one here. So yeah, I should be enjoying asparagus in abundance, but as I said, the local Peter Rabbit's helped himself, so I've had to net them again. And when I change the borders of my beds, which are absolutely awful, but I unfortunately inherited them, and I haven't gotten around to change them. I've got 9 beds, so it's not going to be the cheapest job to do. So I just focus on the bed for now and make do with what I've got, and at least try and save the crops that I've got. So yeah, this is my asparagus bed, and because I had so many runners, and I've got some more. Can you see all of that? These are all strawberry runners, so I shall be picking them out at some point and replanting them. I've even got some on the other side. Replanting them in this bed here somewhere. I'll tidy it up as well. I mean, you can never have too many strawberries, right? I absolutely love the strawberries. They are absolutely delicious. Nothing compared to those in the shop. Absolutely zero. So anyway, you can never have too many strawberries. So this is going to be a strawberry bed. It's in the making. I have brought home quite a lot of strawberry runners from last year from these plants, sorry. And my son's replanted them, and I've put them at the minute in windowsill planters, just so they're settled, they're growing roots, and hopefully give us some strawberries. I'm going to have to see, but I mean, if I haven't got strawberries all the way to the end this year, I'm not bothered, because I know they are coming. They are coming, boy. Yes, so anyway, that's the plan. I will just need to give this a de-weeding, and plant the odd runners that I can see and stay on top. It does need topping. You can see that I haven't topped this bed just yet. It probably could be doing with a really good heavy layout, which I will be doing as soon as I get round to it. But yeah, that's the plan. So here we go. This path, I'm just ignoring it. As you can see, I've been using wood chips, and I've just been really disappointed with the wood chip. It looks really good, it breaks down and everything. However, my issue, I find, that's my honest opinion, it breaks down, brings in more seeds, shall I say, who of course turn into weeds, and it just looks so messy. We don't get as much we don't get as many wood chips deliveries, so staying on top of that whilst everybody fighting for the wood chips, it's not great. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to end up just lining them all with weed membrane and just literally sticking them down. I'm fed up of tripping and, the mess that happens. I mean, look at it, goes without saying, when it's freshly put down, it's absolutely lovely, and I love the smell. I love the scent of freshly put down wood chip, but the aftermath is just not great. So anyway, moving on to the very last bed. These plants were already in here when I took on my allotment. They are unfortunately tubers, and they will literally take over. So I've had to cut them back quite a lot and pull quite a lot of the tubers out. I did have, you can see I've got three, four left. This was a brassicas bed as well. I've still got a little bit left here. These are so small, I'm just gonna let them go to seed, you see, for the bees. This one's gone to seed. Ta-da! And what I had before, I planted a load of onions and garlics, and you can see I've left one in the ground, so that one's popped up. So why not? Free food. I'll wait for it to mature before I can pick it out and harvest it. I'm gonna go over this bed. I can see the straw has done a really good job at preventing weeds popping up. I mean, this is amazing. If you have a look, if I just move that, look at it. No weeds. This is black gold. Really nice. So I'm really chuffed. I've got loads more in my shed behind me. And what I will do, once everything has been planted, all the summer crops, I will be topping everything with straw as well. I mean, I like the other bed over there with my brassicas in, next to my Jerusalem artichokes. I have got no weeds. I've got the odd ones on the sides. I don't know if you can see. I've got one here. I've got the agulasias, which come up every single year. They're a pain when you're trying to net, but other than that, I don't mind. These are weeds that I appreciate because they are really pretty, and of course they help the bees. So yeah, this has helped. I mean, I can see it even from here. No weeds popping through, so I'm really pleased with that. I do have lemon balm, which does keep popping up everywhere, unfortunately, on my sides as well. Due to this patch, I'm not a fan, unfortunately. It kind of reminds me of citronella. It probably is similar, it's from the same family anyway. So yeah, I'm going to try and rip this out because it just goes everywhere. I'll rip it out and leave it by the community shed for people to help themselves, so it doesn't go to waste. But yeah, so here we go. That was my very first allotment tour. Not much growing at the minute, although I do have quite a lot of beds filled with produce, but I've got more coming anyway. I've got loads in my little nursery and my little greenhouse that is waiting to be planted out. I will be planting some of the tomatoes here and try and cover them as much as possible to prevent any blight should there be more rain coming on. We were really fortunate last year. It was a really lovely year. It was from the end of February. Oh, it was gorgeous. It was probably on the dry side, to be honest. Still very windy, apologies. But yeah, last year we were really lucky. This year it's been really wet. I mean, you can see just the clouds in the background whilst we've got more sun going on. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, it's just the sun is trying to poke through. It's still quite a bit windy, but anyway, so fingers crossed it's not going to be too wet, but just in case, I'm just going to build a structure to cover my tomatoes as much as possible, because if the tomatoes get blight, my potatoes in the same bed on the other side of the trellis will catch it too, and I'll be a bit upset really. So I need to make sure it doesn't happen again and protect them. So yes, the next tour is going to be in the back garden, so I'm going to try and do both, and yes, I'll see you shortly. Hello friends, and welcome into my back garden. You can see that I've got a polytunnel at the back. We're going to have a look in there, but there is nothing really growing at the minute in there. It's just got the potatoes that I planted a few weeks back with my daughter. So this is the view from where I'm stood. So let's start with the patio. So I have, these are all self-seeded. More strawberries. I do need to pick them out and just top, I don't know if you can see, with fresh soil, because I didn't top them at all last year, and they are so far down in that massive half barrel pot that they just don't get as much light once all the foliage is on there. This is it. So this is a job for me to do, topping these up, so pulling them out. I know they are we're now in spring, and you know, and they might, I don't know, get affected from it. It's fine. I'll pull them out gently, you know, with the root ball, top it with manure and a bit of compost, and put them all back in. On here I have these are all the wild garlics. These are really old. I bought some from the garden centre a few years back. Take the weeds out, and you can see it needs topping up as well with soil. Over the years it's gone down. I've even got some bloody weeds in there. Pull these out. Goodbye. Yes, and these are all the wild garlic that have been pulled accidentally with the roots, so I have resown them. I've got a lovely self-seeded puppy that's popped up. I'm so excited by that. And we've got all the strawberries that my son has repotted. You can see I've got a few in there. They are probably a little bit on the tight side, but they'll do just fine. This is one of the blueberries that my son bought. I made him add a few strawberries because we had a little bit of space, but it's a little bit, there we go. And this one is actually doing really well. If you have a look, ta-da, we've actually gonna get blueberries. I planted these into pots. I've got another one on the other side. Where's my finger? Right here. Because they need ericaceous earth, and I have some in my front garden which didn't do so well. So where are they? So we've got some more here. I've got a load more here. So yeah, these in the pots have done really well. So I planted them in, I can't even remember if it was 3 months ago or so. And then behind my strawberries, look at this beauty. This is also my son's. I can't see any flowers on it just yet. I'm not quite sure when the flowers bud. I can't see any, to be honest. So yeah, and this is a self-seeded wild strawberry or woodland strawberry. They do really, really well. I've got a few around the property, and obviously I've got more strawberries. I thought this was empty and the strawberries will do really, really well. And then I've got a lovely, magnificent magnolia tree, which now, oh, I've got one flower left. Let's go on the other side. I have one flower that's left. Absolutely beautiful. Such a shame because that was in bloom. Where am I? This tree was in bloom a little while ago, and then we had all those strong winds and they all went poof, gone. But you, little one, you've survived. Huh? And this little beauty, this is my magnificent Mirabelle tree. It's mostly lost its flowers because it's turning into little plums. I've got some left here. I am so excited. It looks probably a bit messy to you, and you're probably wondering, what the heck has she put in the tree? Why is there thread all over? Well, if you have a look, these were actually all growing up. And what I've done, and I've done that in the past on this tree, and you can see some of the branches that are a little bit wonky, like this one. Where is it? This one. It's by holding it with a string going down, it is supposed to help the tree grow into the shape and eventually come 5 years, because this tree was originally in a really large pot and it didn't really grow. It grew, but I wouldn't call it growing. Let me go back on the other side so you can see the shape from here. And by it growing this way, so once the actual branches of the wood harden and it grows down like this, as the tree grows, you see that, as the tree grows, it will be easier for me to harvest all the plums on here, rather than them all shooting up and the tree getting taller and taller. So that's the mad idea behind doing that. I've been needing to do this for ages and I hadn't gone around to it, and I've done that this week now, so I'm really pleased that it's been done. I know it looks a bit messy, but you can't really tell too much, and to be honest, it's only temporary. Once those branches have set, you know, the thread comes out and the branches are naturally falling down, a little bit like a willow tree, which is really lovely. But the purpose of it is to help me in harvest time, when the tree is really, really tall, that I don't need to necessarily get a massive step ladder, and I can still reach them even with a little store or something like that. I've still got some bricks which I haven't dealt with. They need cleaning up, and they are part of my herb patio garden project, and I'm so happy with that. Looks a little bit messy. We've had strong winds, unfortunately, but this is all my herbs, or most of them. I do have lovage growing on either side of my trellis over there. I've got apple mint growing here. I think it's a normal mint, this one. I'm not actually sure which ones they are. It might be a peppermint one, I'm not sure. But I love it. Oh my goodness. I just absolutely love mint. Oh, absolutely delicious. And then I've got different varieties of parsley. Oh, they are looking a little bit sad for themselves, but my daughter's been playing mom, and she's been picking at them. So, and by picking at them, they're not quite established completely, so she's pulled them out a few times, but you can see I'm getting loads of new growth. This one is a French one. This is a curled one, and God knows what these are. Curled, obviously, by the look of it. But yeah, I absolutely love parsley. I use a lot of it. I use it in various dishes, and I don't just use a sprinkle. I use a really handful of them. Then I've got a little pot here, which I haven't planted out yet, but I have up potted it. It's woodruff. It is poisonous when you don't process it, but I would like to try and do jelly with it. In Germany, you can get a green jelly, which it's really, really weird. It's kind of like, I don't know what the flavour is of woodruff. If somebody knows, it's like banana, but not quite banana. Anyway, and I would like to, again, it's the same as mint. It travels and spreads, so I've kept it in a pot because it's also poisonous if you don't cook with it or process it. Then I've got my bay tree at the back. I used to have a much bigger one, but unfortunately it died. This one is now a couple of years old. It's not massive, and you know, I haven't used the leaves yet because there's not that many on them. So I'm still buying those from the shop, but I'm hoping that once this gets going, now that it's in deeper soil, you know, throughout this year, it's going to actually grow. That would be lovely. Then I've got my rosemary. I mean, I've got all the flowers on them. Look at them. They're beautiful. Anybody who didn't know that rosemary flourishes, it totally does. And that one is quite big, so it was happy anyway, so now it's going to be even happier in there. And I've got sage here as well, which is, oh gosh, God knows, I don't know. Oh, it smells lovely, really, really nice. That one is, probably about 8 or 9 years old. It's not massive, but it just never dies. It always comes back, so I'm not complaining. Then I've got my lovely lemon thyme, another favourite of mine. Really lovely. It's getting a little bit woody. It was originally in that pot over there, but I have moved it in here. Hopefully it's going to do well. I might just buy another one and put it in a big pot because I use this a lot, especially now come summer. This is going to get used a lot. I use it a lot with chicken. So, yeah, I might just buy a replacement just in case this one just gets really, really woody. And I mean, you can see there's not many greens left on it. It's all wood, except the tips. So, I'm wondering, it might be time. Haha, no pun intended. It might be time to maybe just upgrade it. And then I've got my lovely chive. Look, I've got flowers coming up. Yay! It's beautiful, and I use this a lot as well, especially fresh in potato salad. And this is my lovely little Japanese maple tree that my in-laws have given me a long time ago. In fact, that was 2000. 15, and it's doing so well. Excuse the sun, let me move over. It's beautiful. I'm really chuffed with this one. So it's like a main feature. It seems a little bit, I don't know, I might move it somewhere else at the minute. I'm not quite happy where it's sitting. So at the minute it's staying there, but I might move it again. And then I've got most of my tomatoes. These are repotted. I need to take them back up in the nursery. These are, good question, where's my label? I must have the other label up oh no, it's here. Courgette de Nice. Can I say that? Courgette de Nice. These are courgette de Nice, and I'm really chuffed because I grew them a few years back and I was really happy with them. So yeah, courgette de Nice, but these need to go back into the nursery, which is in my bedroom. And then I've got, yes, my tomatoes. I mean, my goodness, you know, pretty tall. I did start them mostly. I've got a few more that are coming on that I planted much later. But these were planted at the end of January. Why? You're going to tell me it's far too early, and I do agree, because you struggle with the space after. However, these go into my polytunnel, which has got a massive oak tree on the top. When this is in leaf, oh, Mr. Squirrel up there, where are you? He's moved. There you are. Hello, Mr. Squirrel, our local squirrel resident. We have a few. He's just dropped some rubbish. He's probably been to the nut bar that we provide every month. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, this is all going to be in the shade. And last year I didn't grow any tomatoes and hardly any cucumbers in there just because it's so dark. So I thought I'm going to try and help myself and just plant them a little bit sooner so that they establish a lot sooner and are happier sooner. And then, because once they hit a certain size, tomatoes, they grow really quickly. So fingers crossed, these bad boys are going to make me proud, because I really would like to have, I've got quite a lot that I want for like fresh eating and salads, but I also want to do a lot of maybe freezing or even canning would really be a goal for me, but I'm nowhere near that just yet. I have my shallots, which I still haven't planted. I mean, it's not like they're screaming at me. Look at the size of them. They're looking pretty happy, but I need to plant them out. So this is still on my to-do job. Then I've got my, should I call it my salad bar? Ta-da! These are just gutters, which I empty every year because obviously there's not a lot of soil in it. And this is where I sow all of my lettuces so that they are slug free and slugs safe. So they generally do really well. This is a south facing garden, and so they get sun until about lunchtime, 1 o'clock, and after that it's shady because in my previous property it was the other way around. We had them on the other side of the fence, and this is black. It attracts the heat and they dry out so quickly. So a word of advice, absolutely amazing to use gutters along your fence. using the airspace basically that you've got available, especially something like it's not very heavy, so you don't even need to have like a super massive, you know, quality fence. Anything will do. It's not very heavy. It gets heavier as they get wet, but yeah, anyway, plant them on the side of your garden that doesn't get afternoon sun, because they will dry out and you will be disappointed. And ask me how I know. They end up bolting. So there you go. I've got a few planters here that my neighbour's given me. Oh, this is an apple tree. One of my apple trees I've got here. Still not planted. I've got an idea for these. They're going to go along my fence on this side, and I'm going to train them along the fence. I have planted parsnips in here and I still have nothing come up. I am not exactly sure, although I've got a little one here, but I don't know if that's parsnips. Or is it this one that's parsnips? I am not actually sure. I've got some little babies that have popped up, but not many. So I've put some, I don't like using them, the pellets, but I don't like sharing because they literally decimate everything. This is my only carrots that has survived from last year. This is what happens. They literally decimate all my carrots and I end up with absolutely nothing. So I'm not happy with that. But so I planted them because they're really, really deep planters. They're absolutely brilliant. I will top them again next year all the way to the rim, just to give them that extra head space for carrots, parsnips. And in this bed, I believe, is called parsley Hamburg, which is, it looks like parsnip, a white parsnip, but it actually is very sweet and it tastes like parsley, I guess, and the greens are parsley as well. So this is an ancient crop. I thought I'm going to give a shot, and they have come up, and I'm really pleased because it doesn't look like, it looks a little bit dry towards that side, but I've had a lot of babies come up. I'm just praying now that the slugs don't find them, because I'll be upset. So moving on to more carrots and parsnips. See, I don't know, am I the only one that struggles with root veg direct sowing? It's ridiculous. I've got some more here which I'm really, really pleased. Look at these there, amazing. But in this bed again, they're just starting to pop up now, but I'm just really concerned that, let's move all these leaves. I'm just really concerned the slugs are going to get them. Every single time without fail, they pop up, give it a week and they're all gone. I've done the same here. In fact, I had sown the carrots in I forgot what it's called, on that piece of tape. Yeah, it's called a tape, I believe, from Lidl, and nothing came up. So I've just gently re-sown seeds and they've come up. So now, fingers crossed, the slugs leave them alone. Moving on to, it's a bit messy, but this is my netting that I used to cover this bed, which had brassicas in last year up until early this spring. I've got another apple tree sitting there that keeps falling over. A friend gave me, and it really needs uppotting, so I'm really sorry. It's still surviving, so I'm really happy. But anyway, so I took the brassicas out, hung this up because the netting was just really dirty, so the rain's done a really good job at washing it. And I've planted, I don't know if you can see, but I've planted over 50 leeks in here, and I mean the little ones all the way here. These on this side were shop bought last year. They're doing really, really well, and I've got even bigger ones on this side right here. This is my lovage, and I've got another one right here. So yeah, this is my trellis that had beans on this side and peas on the other side. It's feeling a little bit sorry for itself. I need to just readjust it. My my only kale that I sowed in the autumn, and it's gone to flower, it's gone to seed, it's bolted. I'm so disappointed and so sad because it's the only one that survived. Never mind. I do have beetroot, all sown from seed last year. I have re-sown little ones and I can't really see them. Let me just have a look. I don't really want to stand in this. I've got more from seed here, and I planted. Oh, I can see one lot. Let me just find it. Can you see it? So then I've got brassicas. So yeah, my daughter comes in here unfortunately, so I have to watch for things. I do have a beetroot here, but I'm not sure what this is. I don't know if it could be chamomile, self-seeded. I'm not exactly sure. These, I cannot remember for the life of me what brassicas they are. So that's going to be a surprise when they pop up. Every year I do the same thing. I label everything and the labels disappear and that's it. Right, we know what this is. This is more. No, actually we don't. They were Brussels sprouts. And it's all gone to seed, unfortunately. I've got more purple sprouting broccoli on this side. I don't know if you can tell. It looks really bright on my camera. But anyway. So, yeah. I'm going to tear all of that out. And this is where my next lot of brassicas are going to go in. I don't exactly have a plan where things are going to go. I just try and interplant things as best that I can, as close as I can. Unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of having several beds where you can keep things separate and everything. I am planting everything really, really close together. It's all been topped with manure. It gets topped twice a year with manure as well. So, yeah, that's that. Right, and the bed from the bottom side. Unfortunately, my sides never stay up. I've got a lone little celery that survived or is coming back. Whether it will or not, I don't know. I try and grow celery every single year and it's just rubbish. I just can't do it. I don't know if it's because of the fact that all those oak leaves from the oak tree behind me are actually acidic. So what I've done to try and fix that problem without getting rid of the tree is I've just raked all the leaves away. I mean, you can still see there's a few there, but what I've done is I've literally bagged a whole ton bag full of leaves, just so there is not too many leaves breaking down into the soil, bringing the pH down and everything. So I've actually picked them all up, raked them all up and gotten rid of them so that they are not on the beds breaking down, preventing my crops from staying small or not growing at all. This is a brassica. There's even two from last year that is still not doing anything. I mean, it's not died. Let's see if it actually produces something this time. But I had broccoli and cauliflower in this bed last year and they did okay. I mean, the cauliflower did really well. Broccoli not so much, but I'm still working. I'm still building the soil in these beds. This is only my third spring in this property. So yeah, it could just be that it needs a little bit of more nutrition in it and more manure and all that kind of stuff. And this is my polytunnel. Not much happening. I do have my kiwi plant that's still here. And it's really beautiful. It's an organic plant. And it comes up with these, I don't know if you can tell, these pink shoots. But I never get any kiwis. And it could be because of this tree, which once it's in bloom, this is it. It doesn't get very, very sunny here. First thing in the morning, and a little bit like now, towards the end of the day. But I'm really happy because look what's popped up. My potatoes. Ta-da! I mean, I've got a load of mushrooms. Anybody know what they are? Look at them. Oh, that's a good sign, I suppose. It's a really good sign. Anybody know what this is? I have no idea. It needs watering. It's on the dry side, unfortunately. But you can see it's not harming the potatoes because they've all come up pretty much. There we go. I'm really pleased. I do have another grape vine around here. And I was a little bit disappointed last year because it didn't really grow much. It grew leaves, but in size it didn't. So I'm hoping that this year it does a little bit better. So yeah. Anyway. Oh. This little baby's coming through. Really pleased. So I shall give this, especially when I start mowing the lawn. Oh. So once I start mowing the lawn, I'll be able to top all of that with grass clippings. And once the weather turns a little bit better, let's have a look. So you see, we've still had 5 degrees overnight, so it's still too low for tomatoes and cucumbers. So you can see I haven't got much growing at the minute. I'm still working on things. I've got a load in the nursery and in my little greenhouse, which I might do a separate tour another time. But I hope you've enjoyed these little videos. It's the very first garden tour from my gardens, and I really enjoy going back in time, looking at things, the way things have changed, the knowledge has changed, because everything is a learning curve. And yeah, everything improves a little bit every single year. Try new vegetables. We find veg that are more suitable for us. Obviously the best thing to do is to always grow what you actually eat, because there is no point, it's just a waste of space. And with the veg prices and just the prices in general in the shops, it's even more so important for me to be self-sufficient, to interplant where I can interplant, and also just scatter also all the sowings. And I would rather have a little food forest with everything close by, and so long as the ground is covered with foliage and with food, basically, I'm happy. So yeah, this is kind of where I'm going this year. I've got a few ideas still, things that I'm moving into the allotment. I've got, like I said, those 2 beds where I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with it, or shall I say more than one. The one near the shed, that one is like, I'm kind of keeping it like carte blanche, because I've got so many brassicas, things that are very slow at coming, but are growing. So I don't know whether they're going to make it or not. So I bought a couple of trays, broccoli or cauliflower. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to double check. So, and they take quite a lot of space, but I will be interplanting loads more carrots, parsnips. think my son's got more onions. He was given onion sets very kindly, so these have been sown. Oh, I've got my shallots. I need to be planted into all of that. Can be planted in rows really really neatly and tightly, which I really enjoy. It makes it a little bit difficult to get into the bed and harvest, but I'm fine with that. I can deal with that. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.